Hey guys, so today I am doing a quick little review and tutorial using a light table. The brand Litup sent me one of their really cool light tables so I can try it out and review it for you guys. I've been wanting to make a video like this anyway, showing how to transfer images and how to start on a drawing. This is the Litup table. It's about 14 by 18. I think it fits an A3 size paper. It is super thin and really bright. So this is the model LP3 and it's LED light, so it's really bright, really compact. Every light table I've had before this has been like that thick. So this is amazing. An amazing tool for artists, tattoo artists, animators, anyone who needs to trace images for their drawings. So pretty much it plugs in, there's a little AC power cord, and there's one touch button over here. It's like a sensor button, and this light can go really bright and you can dim it if you want. So this is the brightest setting. I know it kind of looks weird on the screen, but it's super bright. This will light up my whole room. The light kind of comes off on the edges. It's really cool looking. And this is brighter than any light table I've had too, so this is amazing to me. So you can make it a slightly dimmer. You can turn it off by touching it, and if you hold it, you can make it slightly dimmer, slightly brighter, and touching it will turn it on and off. So I'm going to show you guys how to use a light table to transfer your images. It's not that hard. I know a lot of artists that just use the window during the daytime, or they make their own, but this is a really cool alternative. If you have the money to buy one, I would really suggest it because it's super thin and it's amazing. So I have an Inktober drawing today that I want to transfer to watercolor paper, and I will show you how to do that. So let's get started. Okay, so I have my drawing in my sketchbook. I don't really want to tear this out of my sketchbook, so I'm going to make it open like this. It might be kind of weird, but we'll make it work. I'm going to take one of these watercolor papers from this pad. For those of you that want to know what paper I use, this is the Fabriano hot press watercolor paper. It's 140 pounds, super thick, 9 by 12. They're really good. They actually don't warp very much. They do a little bit, but oops. Looks like I'm gonna have to tear it out. Darn. Maybe I could tape it back in later. I don't like taking apart my sketchbooks. Alright, so this is the drawing that I am trying to trace. It's just a sketch. So what I'm going to do is lay this over and position it exactly where I want it. And then once I think I have it, I'm going to use tape to tape it down. Okay, you should use masking tape for this. I don't have any right now, so I'm going to use some washi tape, which is a little similar. You don't want to leave it on for too long just in case the tape glue comes off on your drawing. So I'm just gonna get 2 small pieces. If you have a really big drawing, you might need a little bit more tape than this just to secure it. You don't want this moving while you're tracing it. And then if you want, you can tape it to the light table, but I'm okay with it just being loose like this. Alright, so now what I'm gonna do is trace over the drawing very lightly on the new paper. So I know a lot of artists, especially comic book artists, that will do this 3 or 4 times per drawing. So what they would do is do a light thumbnail sketch, trace over that with a tighter pencil drawing, almost as if you're inking it, but in pencil, and then they will trace over that and actually just ink on the top paper instead of drawing it by pencil and then inking it without the light table. You can do this any way you want. I don't like inking straight from the sketch because working on top of a light table kind of strains your eyes a little bit, If it doesn't bother you, then by all means you can do that, but I also really like working from a pencil sketch because the sketches always have the most flow and dynamic lines. It's really hard to get the same flowiness of a pencil drawing when you're inking it, so that's why I try to do the least amount of steps as possible. So straight from the sketch, I'm just going to do a really light, more tight sketch and then just ink over that. I don't really erase my pencil drawings unless it's graphite that I'm using, because I hate how graphite smears and sometimes can smear into the colors that I'm painting with. So I guess you could use a workable fixative to fix that, but I don't really like to do any of that. So there are so many different ways of preparing a drawing, and you pretty much just have to see what works best for you and the mediums that you're using. It's a lot of trial and error. Hopefully this will help you out if you use similar materials to what I used. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just start doing the tighter line work for this piece, and then you guys can see me finish the whole drawing. Alright, so I am just lightly tracing over my original sketch using the Prismacolor Very Thin colored pencil in Crimson Red. You should do this lightly, but I have a very heavy hand and I always end up drawing a lot darker than I should be. This light table is actually going to be one of my favorite drawing tools now. I've had other light tables before because I majored in animation for a couple of years. They're so useful for animators and illustrators, so I really recommend getting some kind of light table. There's other ways of transferring your artwork to different surfaces, like transfer paper, and if you're really short on money, you can always do the good old rub on the back of a sheet of paper, but both of those transfer methods require you to draw the drawing like 3 times, and every time you redraw it, you always lose the original life and flow that was in your original sketch. That's why I prefer using a light table to transfer any of my drawings. I'm putting the links to the Amazon page for this light table in the description. They did not pay me to say anything about their product. They simply just sent me one and asked me to review it unbiased. So this is my honest opinion. There are a lot of other options as well, so make sure you do your research. But so far, the 3 or 4 brands that I've tried, this is one of the best ones I've ever had. So Inktober is kind of tiring me out. I miss using color, so today I thought I would just go all out with my watercolors again. And since I ink it with pens, I think it kind of counts as Inktober still. So again, I'm using the watercolor skin tone palette that I made in one of my previous videos. And then I'm using my good old giant palette full of Shinhan watercolors for the blues and greens in this painting. So I thought I would use my Finetec Mica watercolor paints for this. This is a set that just has a bunch of different pearlescent colors and they're super shiny. It's always fun to use them for anything mermaid or space related. They do come out a little bit muddy when you paint them on white paper, but if you're painting them over a similar color, it turns out really nice. Alright, and now I am starting to ink using the Shinhan Art Touch liner pens. Shinhan sent me a set of their pens, and it has the brush nib, the calligraphy one, and 5 different sizes of multi-liner pens. So far I am liking these so much better than any other ones I've used. Compared to the Faber-Castell and the Sakura Micron pens, these ones are a lot sturdier. The nibs are smoother and a lot harder and stiffer than both of those other brands. Like, after a while using the Sakura ones and the Faber-Castell ones, the nib of them sometimes splits open and they become really dull, but sometimes they absorb some of the other materials that you're using and they dry out so quickly. But with these, they're really sturdy and the ink flow is amazing. I haven't used them a ton yet, but so far I really, really like them. And then my last step is to just add a few highlights with my Uniball Signo white gel pen and a few tiny last details. And here's the finished drawing. I really want to do a couple more mermaids for Inktober, at least a few smaller ones. Here's a nice shot of the shimmery metallic paints on the painting. Alright, thank you guys for watching, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye!